they gone, or they're about to be gone. Texas and Oklahoma are headed to the SEC in 2024 for a combined total of $100 million being paid to the Big 12, distributed among what has been referred to on Twitter as the Hateful Eight, or the 8 schools that are left in the conference, with Texas and Oklahoma leaving. Now, remember when we checked in on this, I believe it was just last week, everyone and their mother was saying, well, hey, the conversations have sort of come to a halt. It's a game of chicken. Nobody can really agree on what to do. The big hangup was Texas and Oklahoma saying, listen, we'll pay you this much to get out, not a penny more. And Fox was sitting there saying, well, we will not take less than Y amount and not a penny less. And so there was sort of this standoff going on, like the scene in The Office where you got Andy, you got Jim, you got Michael, and they're all there standing there with a finger gun standoff. That was where we were at. Nobody could agree on an amount because of the 7 games that involved Texas and Oklahoma. Excuse me, getting choked up just talking about it. That involved Texas and Oklahoma, and the money Fox would lose on those games. Now, obviously, they came to an agreement of $100 million, which Brett Yormark now has communicated, the commissioner of the Big 12, will accelerate the new beginnings of the Big 12 as a 12-team league. And I would personally put in parentheses, for now, as a 12-team league. Now, remember, last time we talked about this, we told you, hey, everyone's acting like this is a done deal, like this is just stopped in the tracks, but you have a lot of people with a lot of money, and we got a lot of time until that unofficial deadline gets here of what would be the 2024 season. So keep an eye on that. And as we told you, as you probably knew sitting at home, this thing wasn't dead in the water. Regardless of the reports that were coming out, this thing was never completely dead because you had a lot of people with a lot of money and a lot of power. So one of the main drivers in this getting done, obviously $100 million is a pretty sweet deal. But remember Fox, they were a little bit unhappy, and rightfully so. They were going to lose out on a lot of money with Texas and Oklahoma. One of the main drivers, and this is interesting, Texas and Michigan originally had a game scheduled for 2024 to be played in Austin, Texas. So the Wolverines were going to go to DKR and play a game there. That game is now flipped in terms of the sequence that we're going to play again in 2027, where Texas will now go to Michigan in 2024, and Michigan will go to Texas in 2027. Again, that was originally flipped in terms of where those games are going to be played. Why is that important? Because now it is likely set up for Fox to get that 2024 game, meaning you're probably going to get Joel Klatt and Gus Johnson on the call in 2024, and it'll likely be a big noon kickoff game. So Fox will benefit from the eyeballs and the revenue. Like that's a very interesting piece. That is a lot of money that will potentially, likely go to Fox from that game. So that being a key driver per ESPN's Pete Thamel, I think is fascinating and was a nice little carrot to get this thing done. More money going to Fox helps sweeten the deal. More thoughts on this, but really quickly, if you haven't yet subscribed to this channel, we'd love to have you a part of this party. College football don't stop. We don't either. Also, follow me on the socials at JD Piquel on Twitter as well as Instagram. So where to now? Brett Yormark, commissioner of the Big 12, like I said, told the public rather, this will help us accelerate new beginnings as a 12-team league. I hear the 12-team league talk. I'm not against it. I'm for the 12 teams in the Big 12. Like, that makes sense from an optics standpoint. But let's be real here. There's more coming. There's more coming with conference realignment. Because, yes, it helps accelerate your new beginnings as a Big 12 conference and helps accelerate your 12-team league. But this is also, I think, going to put the Big 12 in position to be buyers when it comes to adding more teams. Because we all know it's heading towards that super conference era. You either get with it or you get left behind. And the Big 12 is now in good position. I think with Brett Yormark behind the wheel, they're going to continue to try and add. And now with this seed money and now having more teams coming to the conference, they're going to be on offense. Now, who that looks like, I don't know. But with Brett Yormark, nothing is off the table. Because Brett Yormark is not your typical conference commissioner. You know where he was before the Big 12? You know who he was working with? He was working with Hove. He was working with Jay-Z at Rock Nation. He was the CEO at Rock Nation before coming to the Big 12. It's a wild career move, but I'm just telling you, Brett Yormark sees dollars and cents. He sees brands. Okay? So when it comes to what they're going to add to the Big 12, I think it's fair to say that there's big brands that could potentially be on the table. Now, if I were to speculate, I would keep an eye on the Pac-12. I would keep an eye on other G5 schools. Obviously, they're adding UCF, which is a big one. There was a lot of smoke a couple years ago, I guess it was, about other schools in Florida being USF or Memphis. And so, again, that's all speculation. I'm not telling you something that's factual. I'm just giving you sort of what was rumbling about a year and a half ago. So keep an eye on that. But the bottom line, the Big 12, I firmly believe, will continue to expand. I would be wildly surprised if the Big 12 stays at 12 teams. Now, when would they add more participants? Don't know. But with Brett Yormark behind the wheel, again, it's not thinking about, well, what would this bring to the table from a style of play? What would this bring to the table from a personnel? No, he's thinking more money is good for our company. More brands, more eyeballs, good for our company. And in today's college football, it's the way you got to look at it in the Super Conference era. Now, from a football perspective, I think Oklahoma and Texas will benefit from this, like we've talked about before. They already recruit really well, but now you can pitch to recruits, if you're OU or Texas, come and spend the entirety of your career in the SEC. And if you want to be developed and you want to go play in the NFL, you put something on tape, an NFL junior in the SEC, you're going to have a pretty good shot to have different conversations with scouts. We're not second-guessing your film. We were never second-guessing it before if you were in the Big 12, but now I'm playing against a top first-round pick from the SEC as a receiver, and I'm playing against the top DB at Bama or top DB at LSU or whatever it is, those schools that have routinely churned out NFL products. Like, you hear what I'm saying? You hear what I'm saying here in terms of the tier one competition you're playing against that's only going to help you when it goes to the NFL. And, I mean, scouts and the NFL draft as a whole, the data itself would indicate as much. So, Texas and Oklahoma for $100 million headed to the SEC in 2024. They said it couldn't be done. But as Michael Scott says, this was a win-win-win. Everyone wins. We appreciate you rocking with us. This has been the Hard Count. Nick, break lifting heavy. This is your show. Again, follow me on Instagram and on Twitter at Jody Piquel. But most importantly, subscribe to this channel so we can have you a part of this operation, have you a part of the party. We appreciate y'all. Love y'all. We're going to keep the party rolling, and we will see y'all next time. Hey y'all, thanks so much for watching. Subscribe to the channel here to make sure you don't miss an episode of The Hard Count. Also be sure to check out other videos on the On3 YouTube channel.